and hope that Koi 2-0 their match against KC to force a three-way tie. It's a tough road, but, well, you've made your bed. Now it's time to lie in it.
Just don't lose the first game. We wouldn't be here.
Exactly, yeah. You already had your say in it. Now it's time to leave it up to the other teams. So it starts here, and really every round that they lose could be contributing to their ultimate downfall for the side of Vitality. This is where they want to bounce back from the match we saw earlier. Already, Trapwire going to be distracted, taken down without any players being caught in the crossfire. Good trade out as Runner takes over control of the market, trading out the mid lurk from Safe, and they're even pushing aggressively in towards the spawn. Vitality not content with the site control. They want to fight all the way through and isolate some of these duels, but there's a few more Koi players than they'd anticipated. Now it's a 3v2.
Got a lot to try and hold on to here. Grouping up the side of Koi, the Boombot already going to give them quite a bit of information. Nade to clear the close corner as well, but that flash is sublime from Kicks. His Sky has looked fantastic and evening up that scoreline. They've got to peek this in case they're defusing, and Camo now into the 1v1, leaving it onto the youngsters to fight this one out, to see who takes the victory, and the Pistol King of Kicks will close it out again.
Not a bad start for Vitality. That's what we wanted. The pistol round under their belt as they strive for victory here. It wouldn't be over for Koi necessarily either. Obviously, they have that, as we said, the best case scenario for Vitality really is forcing out that three-way tie. That relies on Koi not being too decimated mentally from this series. Vitality, you want to do it. You want to win quick, not just for the rounds, but also so they still have some gas left in the tank, right?
Yeah, the only team that are really going to be smiling at this point is sort of no matter how it goes, KC are just out there going, if we win our games, we win.
Yep.
And it's exactly the same for Koi. The only person right now looking at everybody else is going to be Vitality. For now, though, a little bit of early aggression from Shados, and yeah, that's about expected when you peek into 4 people. Obviously didn't have the info of how many were going to be there, and the Koi stack was on the other side of the map. So a B site after plant, Vitality, it should be fairly comfortable to take this one home.
Yeah, a few small threats. You still got a nade online for Camo, still the stun for Shadow, but yeah, for the most part, we're not expecting a whole lot. In fact, you can see that Koi are taking this one very passively indeed. Plan probably die to the spike, and if any Vitality players do come out swinging, take them down, drop their weapons. But as we can see, looking at that hood, there's not a lot of weapons in play for Vitality. They're doing the standard 3-2 setup, 2 pistols, so even if they lose a handful, it's not going to be the end of the world for them. Maybe along the way they can farm some valuable ults. Okay, the damage is kind of being done already. Now the exits might actually be very valuable if they weren't cleaned up so quickly. Just Starzone 36 HP, a nice finish to the round, and 2-0 on the board. Well handled by Vitality.
Yeah, I think something worth mentioning in this series as well is the veto is actually quite interesting because you've seen a lot of Sunset when it comes to Vitality. They played it 3 times already, 2 wins versus Gentlemates, and then the loss we just saw moments ago. Koi played it once versus Liquid, which was very close. They've picked it into this series, so clearly feeling they found the weakness of Vitality. And in the map that Vitality chose, they got battered. They got destroyed by Gentlemates on, so clearly feel like they fixed the issues as well. So definitely going to be an interesting series, because Vitality, on the first map that they didn't pick, they're going to be feeling very comfortable, and I'm intrigued to see what they've got planned for the second.
Now Vitality have an idea to move through market for now with 4 players. A trap going to be easily destroyed. The information given away. The reaction from Koi is instantaneous, pushing up on B main to seize this control as they look to fight their way to at least maintaining another angle. They can blitz back in on B. The problem is they've been isolated, they've been grouped up, the nade's done damage, and so is Shados. Scribino, sure, he'll make it past the trap that's no longer up, but it's more about getting out of these angles, getting away from these players who are hunting him down so quickly. They knew where Safe was. They weren't able to deal with him, but the problem is, on the other side, Grabino's down. Starzo, good luck to you in this 1 versus 3. Despite Safe falling and no Viper's wall, there's still plenty to fall back on for the side of Vitality.
Yeah, I can't see much for Starzo in this sort of scenario to really find anything. And the early start from Vitality has been great. Something I want to keep an eye on throughout the entirety of this map is how much Safe is going to be getting away with, because it's the same scenario we've seen of him versus multiple different teams. We've Zero with a Viper's Pit, where he would just push top mid Viper's Pit, like doing a lot of weird stuff. But this round, he was just sneaky enough to get an opener. And while the rest of his team were pincering in, it cut off all the rotations to actually help on that B site. And with full market control and mid control, well, it becomes very, very difficult for the defensive side to really do anything in that round. A 3-0 start, Vitality's attack again looking stellar. And now you come in with, what, the single rifle, a few pistols. Okay, you're close to a few ultimates. Maybe those can be farmed up for Koi, but on the other side of things, Vitality have a showstopper and everything they could ever need in terms of weaponry and utility.
I like the
I'll find you.
weapon kept over on Starzo. Isn't alone. There's some minor upgrades across the board. The stinger for Shadow could be big. Well, 1:30 on the clock. This is somewhere for Vitality to slow it down again. We've seen the mid control. We've seen Safe attempting to lurk up A. He's gotten some good value as well. But the game, thinking back to yesterday, Tom, that this is how Vitality found all their success. It was pumping brakes and letting Gentlemates push into them time and time again. They were able to find the result and able to find the win. But the problem with this kind of strategy is eventually you've got to roll the dice and take a gamble. And it looks like based on the space that Safe has slowly been chipping away, they'll go towards A. But Koi have read this. The weaker weapons are fully stacked up here. There's a stun to play off of. The first fight luckily slows them down. It's not going to prompt the squad to go charging forward. The flash is perfect from Kicks, and the running spray even better. Still a few on the site, but it's left down to just Shadow. And we said the stinger could be deadly. It's only good for the light player, the one with not a lot of health. Vitality 4-0, 4 players alive, ults online. Things are looking very good for this attack side.
Yeah, the question is what sort of reaction we're going to get. Grabinho, he was picking up the operator yesterday, so he was able to do at least a little bit of damage with it, but I'm not so certain if that's going to be the major change here, because this composition, obviously you have the breach. You're able to go for those sort of setup plays for Camo to maybe get aggressive, but they do have the ability to delay at least a little bit, more so than what we saw from Gentlemate's comp. Early push though, fast pace out of Runner.
Yeah, unfortunately no one's there to break that trap, so it's going to cost him a couple seconds as he's stunned up and now taken down. Grabinho with a quick kill. The showstopper finds absolutely no value in round number 5 for Vitality. They need someone else to step it up. The plant coming in from Sender isn't exactly going to shift the sands of time in their favor. Not when Koi still have that man advantage to work with. And a flank on the way from Grabinho, quite far away.
Safe as well, though. That's the man that you always have to be careful of, because he's looking to cut off anybody that's going to be in that position. Now, the one thing with Grabinho, well, I was going to say he could TP, but actually he can't. So he'd have to break the trip if he wants to get through it, and that's the information over.
Yeah, that was it. The fact that he didn't have that online late certainly doesn't help, but Safe's lurk, like you said, Tom, it had a lot of impact. He snuck into that position a few rounds ago. They knew that he likes to play this spot. He's a deadly lurker, but somehow he's found so much value, and with a missed shot from Grabinho, they're hot on his tail. They're not giving up either, knowing that there's an op on the other side. This is a weapon they definitely want out of his hands. They'll get a chance, and they'll find it. Sender cleanly taking the kill. They won't retrieve the operator, but it wasn't part of the game plan. 5-0 with credits struggling on the side of Koi.
I am perplexed so far by this pick, because firstly, you're picking into a map, as said, there hasn't been a massive depth in map pool from Vitality so far. Like, you talk about they played a lot of Sunset, a lot of Lotus. That's about like 60% of their map pool so far. They played Breeze once, they got destroyed. They played Ascent twice and they lost both. One to Fnatic, fair enough, but the other to KC. So we're not really seeing that this team has played a lot of maps within the pool, and you've gone, I'm going to challenge them on the one that they have. It seems like an interesting choice. And the thing is, with that choice, is you allow them to start on the attack. And that's where we have seen a lot of value from Vitality. Slow-paced rounds, as you said. These lurks from Safe being fantastic, 7 and 3 at the top of the board. And as of right now, I'll be honest, it doesn't look Koi have much of a plan to deal with that.
No, it definitely doesn't. I think the fact that you're seeing these rounds fall in such convincing manners, I mean, the presence towards B, the fact that all eyes are on site, they retake together on the side of Koi, and then they are just blindsided by Safe, who was biding his time for the entire round. We can't see this happening again and again. The protocols on Koi really being put to the test. And with this being their map pick, Tom, yeah, look, it's not a good start, but it's not out of control just yet. This half can still be recovered with rifles in play for the side of Koi. They are up against a Viper's Pit, though. And so if they lose control over a site, it's not going to be easy to get it back.
God, look at the pace. A complete change. I think runners realize, okay, I can just put that pressure in. Cam is going to try the showstopper, but not even anybody to be found. And again, it's just a ruse. They've gone back up top mid. Now, there is a trip available. Sender could, in theory, TP past this. Instead, are they going to use the Viper's Pit? I saw Save tempted. He really wants to lock this down, and they forgot about Runner! He went into the side at the beginning of the round. They forgot about him.
Yeah, that is a pretty big blindside for Koi. A player just sat there. They have no idea. He's able to even double up on the kill.
Maybe he used his silent blast back.
Yeah. The suppressor was on. That's the problem. And a Viper's Pit used, again, covering off a ton of the space, basically all the way back in from the spawn side, which is even being covered by 2 players. They have a Viper's Wall to block the way in. For Koi, there are not a lot of chances, and I think literally after obviously seeing that it's a 4v3, but hearing the Viper's Pit go down, the call is to save. It's not likely they win that. And this is the kind of round that typically, if it was a closer game, you would be going for, but your opponents are stacked on money. So if you get 3 kills and lose the round, doesn't matter. No effect.
And you have no money.
And you have none. So you'll have no money for the next, no rebuys, your ults are coming online. This is really, the line in the sand is right in front of you. You can't let Vitality run away with any more rounds. So I think it's the right call to take the save. It seems weird because they still have the firepower. We've seen these clutches all week long, but I think it's a smart play. It really relies on them finding something better in this round, though.
Yeah, I'm almost starting to wonder if Vitality have just got to pay us to cast their matches when they play Sunset, because
something strange going on.
Literally, they won 13-3, absolutely dominated Gentlemates the other day when we casted them play, and then they go and play earlier, and it didn't go very well. So I'm not saying that the teams had any difference. It's obviously just us. 6-0, utterly dominant. Koi, well, I've not really, other than maybe, no, not even in the pistol round. I don't think there was much. Oh, that was a 1v1. That was the closest round.
There we go.
Pistol round. Other than that, it's all gone wrong in Starzo. You can see him in his chair. He's just like, I can't believe what he's just done. He just walked through a poison orb, killed him instantly. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the timing couldn't have been worse either. Camo, nice shot, and Runner's just taken 2. Oh, that's devastating. Vitality, 4 versus 1. Shados, hey, making a good attempt to the first, but he's down to 60 HP. And again, that call is going to be made, this time presumably just by him. He doesn't want anything to do with this 1v3. Runner, Kicks, and Destrian, all full health, all full shields. Nobody's hit him. So Shados saves. 7 rounds in a row for the side of Vitality. This is getting tough to try and find the hope for Koi. Like, they picked this map, but the idea is less than optimal.
No, and the thing is, most of the time you'll talk about like, okay, maybe this setup's gone wrong, and this, but I genuinely can't think of anything they've really attempted. A lot of it has just been Runner blast back into the round, 3 seconds in, he's on the site, you forgot he's there, he's killed 2 people. The next round, Starzo's dead within 5 seconds because Safe walked through a smoke. The round before that, someone walked up top mid and killed your mid player because you didn't realize he was there. The round before, someone's instantly showstoppered. It's like, I'm not even thinking about the plays that Koi are making because the round's done by the time they have a chance to. They're like, guys, we're going for a mid push. Starzo's dead. I guess we just carry on. Like, it's insanity, the amount of early advantages that Vitality are getting. And I think that, yeah, that pretty much speaks for itself. The fact that after losing a match literally minutes ago, they're having a little giggle at the fact that they're just getting away with this stuff.
But, I mean, Salah has no choice but to laugh like that. Well, what's the input even going to be? Well played, guys. You did great. You just caught them off guard by blast packing in.
5 seconds.
I don't understand what's going on. on the side of Koi. They've got weaker weapons here, but it's more so to do with how off guard they are in a lot of these opening engagements. Vitality blitzing it down, finding free kills. And again, I don't want to make it sound like this is a round that they should be winning on the side of Koi or anything like that.
Shados was doing the So Marcus twerk to try and get them to stop shooting at him. I don't, he's not even looking the right way.
But it is an eco, right? And look, you're not even probably not going to use the Rolling Thunder, anything like that. You're just trying to do damage and hopefully win the round. Again, we talked about damage, 9K on pretty much everybody.
What damage are you going to do?
If you kill all 5 of them and you do that the last round and the next 2,
I can't afford a spare operator.
This late as well, yeah. Like the damage would have to be defusing the spike, killing all 5 and defusing.
That was an Andalusia flawless. There you go.
You can't do that. No, replay it, please. Replay. I'd like a replay.
Who's
it's a timeout. We've
Who's
got
POV
time.
do you want?
Both, all of them. Third person, get Jack out as well. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
the man
luckily,
has jumped into the corner.
An Andalusia flawless, so you always get a replay.
Times. He literally, I've never seen anyone do that. Not even in my ranked games, trolling. You have to be kidding me. And he wins it too. It says it all. It says it's all there is to it. 8-0. Look, I would pay a lot of money to be a fly on the wall for these last 8 rounds. You notice we got a lot of cams from Salah. Well, his rival Barbar on the other side, I think he might have yeeted that camera out of the room.
The camera doesn't exist anymore. We're going to have to replace it.
Oh, there he is. Let's go. He's looking calm. He's looking collected. There was a little smile when he said whatever he just said.
It does say, I think it says breathe in and out on the board. I think he's probably just had his eyes up to that. I gotta breathe.
This must be tough, and it really is, because serious talk, when you come into a set of rounds like this, where you have, clearly you have an idea of how they're going to approach it, of how you're going to approach it.
I don't think they do have an idea of how the other team are going to approach it.
You know, you might have something in your head, but what is actually happening on the server is so far from what you've prepared for what you're ready for what your protocols play against, that it's easy to get lost in this, and it's easy to get frustrated and let it slip out of your hands. I think that's what this pause was about. Koi have to believe in their game plan and probably have to change it up from what we've seen so far.
You sure? I'm
not certain, Tom. You know, if at first it doesn't succeed, I'm not sure how many tries you get, but try.
Do you know what?
Try.
It's been at least, what, like 20 seconds and no one's dead?
Good.
That's not bad.
A new record set here on Sunset for Koi as we progress into the next 30 seconds.
Kicks is low. Okay.
Advantage.
Yeah, maybe there is a chance. Stars is going to have to fall back.
Better contention over mid.
Yeah, they managed. I think a lot of it was just that Runner was cheesing these opening duels. Yeah. I can only assume that him and Safe must have the majority of them so far. They are going for this mid push again. This has been something that's been successful for them in the majority of matches they played, and a showstopper out. Nightfall's good, and Runner's killed himself. That's what it takes. It's a trade in the opening duel, and they will be able to even things up once again. A lot of low players, Kicks, tagged still within the early fight, and they know exactly where they are. An afterplant, though, inevitable. There's not going to be anything they can do to stop it.
Yeah, the realization was there from the side of Vitality that this was a big stack coming out of Koi. Curious, because so many rounds have been A plays that they decide to fight mid, stack back to B in the end. And now they're left retaking the A site. Not a lot to work with on the way back through. Again, we had Rolling Thunder previously for Shadow, but he's dead, so that's not going to be online.
TP again.
Grabinho, yeah, you're right. No Shrouded Step to work with. He's going to have to just destroy this cam, play it like a normal agent, and they're ready to fight this now. 2 players on the corner. Good flash, good swing, nice and easy. It's traded out, the work done by Camo as Safe falls. No Viper to play with afterwards. That spike being diffused, spray is good, but now they've got to wildly spam and hope they find him. Only half in the end for Camo. The closest we've seen for quite a while, but again, goes to Vitality, 9-0. When will Koi wake up?
Oh, it seems like Vitality are doing a good job to improve their round difference. The only problem I have is if Koi don't wake up soon, I don't think there's any world where they beat KC.
They need to beat KC, and you know, in a way for Vitality right now, this squad has to rely, like we said, on Koi being able to wake back up,
He said, so
hopefully
close.
just after map 2.
Better luck next time,
That's
boys.
exact good lip reading, Tom. Wow, I mean, you're getting better at this. But it's tough. I don't know what you do say as a coach in this position. Pull your players back into it.
Oh, they're going to hit the second one. There's not really anybody to actually deal with it on the cross, though. They have the trips there, but no one who can actually react off it. Re-aggression in towards the market. And they gambled on the wrong side again. Camo, though, okay. It's looking like we might finally have something to write home about for Koi. He's managed to find a double opener, has the showstopper. Rolling Thunder will clear out the angles. Still a post plant to deal with, though.
Oh, a nasty corner for Kicks, but they've managed to de-root Sander, and they've spotted Kicks' barrel. This should be easy from here on out. Safe in a 1v5. Showstopper if they needed it, but they most certainly do not. Instead, they're just fighting him, and it's diffused. They've bought enough time. In the meantime, Koi are finally on the board. They can take a sigh of relief. It won't be a 13-0, but they're going to need to keep this up. And again, that was Camo catching 2 quick kills as these players try to fight back out towards middle. If that doesn't go their way, well, the round comes into question yet again. They used the Rolling Thunder on the way back through, but they've kept the showstopper.
Well, a long, long road to recovery. We've already mentioned it. Rounds can make the difference, but the fact is for Koi, if they win the series, they win the next one, it doesn't matter. Even if this map goes awry, it becomes irrelevant. Oh, they've started to really... Okay, we got there in the end. Not exactly the way I expected it to go. Safe somehow still gets the kill onto Starzo. And Runner is just full sprint. They've been marking this position for quite a while now. The TP is not going to work either. A little bit scruffy from the side of Vitality. They're running into that trip again.
It's a much different look from them. A push from one player, 2 players up mid, the others going through to B. Much more scattered, much more scruffy, like you said. It's left them in a tough spot. No Rolling Thunder to break through. Kicks can play a little bit closer, but the Cam spotted him. Has to be careful. Made it around the corner, but 3 players have been spotted. Dodges the stun. Flash ready. He can round it on the corner. Looks like he wants to take a kill first. Nicely done. Here comes the flash around the right side. It's not caught breach, though. Shadow had the cage to protect him. Stepped out to cover after. Nicely handled. 2 on the board for Koi. The building blocks are slowly falling into place. Hopefully it's not too late.
It's definitely a long road back. The thing is, though, the Safe definitely seems like he's having a good time. He's got away with some absolute ridiculous kills so far in this matchup, and that is the thing. It's like, from coming back from 9-0 on a mentality that... Is Shadow playing a breach op? Sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt myself. That is a very curious choice.
There's 2 seconds left to change. No, we're going breach operator. Okay. An interesting take. A quick blitz out. Looks like Camo wants to do his best impression of Runner. He's gone blitzing down, but he's left tiles. He's fallen back while Grabinho is the one to lose his life on A main. They're down a smoker. No controller to play around. And on the side of Koi, does mean that some gaps won't be plugged up for them. But the rotations,
I know
gamble
exactly
with the Cypher utility sitting on the B site. They've opted for A. Ult out of Deathstream gives them info. It's hard to decide, though, because if you sprint straight to the B site from here, they will be able to rotate in time. Instead, they send Sender, ulted in, but this is not the full commitment. Viper's Pit on mid, that's not the idea either. It's an A play. That's the long game that they're playing. I love this from Vitality. The traps being destroyed, the fact that Sender's here, they assume that the rest of the squad is going to come barreling through B main, barreling through mid and market, and they'll be able to catch them off guard. But they could not be more wrong. The Viper's Pit will make it very difficult to rotate back. They have to go all the way around through the spawn. Although the pit's actually dropped. Safe pretend. Oh my God! Safe's pretending that he's left this position. He's hiding in the corner now, but the player's coming on his right. Oh, he's seen the barrel. That timing just about worked out.
He's just playing mind games. That's half of what Safe is doing throughout this match so far. Spotted out Shados as well. Just needs to try and buy time for his teammates. And dealing with Safe is something they need to do. Just letting him come in from the back lines in the last few seconds is not something you're going to be able to deal with. Trades coming out, Runner doesn't know the second player's there. Shadow's coming in, has actually managed to find the cover, and he's going to go just for the defusal. He knows that Safe is pretty far away, just tried to stick it all the way, pulls out his gun, but Safe will win it in the end. You didn't deal with him at the beginning, and you won't deal with him at the end.
Not a bad round from Safe. Dropping the pit, a great idea, but the timing damn near caught him. He could have been in a lot of trouble, and this round could have fallen apart. That would have been a lifeline for Koi. But there it is. That kill onto Shadow buys him the time and a quick sprint to make it here before that's defused. The box just about keeping him alive. 21 HP in the end. That's 10-2 at the halftime. Vitality with a stellar start to the series. This is Koi's map pick, and they barely got off the starting block. Vitality could close this out 13-2. This pistol carries a ton of weight. For the side of Koi, their attack side's about to be put to the test.
Yeah, and honestly, the danger man so far in a lot of their pistol rounds has been Kicks. This guy always seems to just have such high impact. Winning a 1v3 in a game the other day. Actually, Runner did the same thing as well. They got a lot of good pistol players on the side of Vitality. Even when I think it was facing off against Fnatic, I think they even won both of them. So we'll see what they can do here. An early stack up outside of this B site, a little bit of control into the market. And, well, the flash will let Kicks know at least a little bit of extra information, but it is just going to be the slow walk up from Koi.
The contact play on the back of Camo, he's been very good in the opening fights. When he has a chance to take those duels. Ran into Safe though, who immediately pops down. His utility slowing him. No way to go through that orb once the snake bite is down below. Deep nade with a stun from Camo. It could do some decent damage. I don't think it's made it quite far enough for a kill, but that certainly has. Good shot to Kicks, and he follows it up with Runner. Nade back online. Safe. He's going to have that to deal with fairly soon, but he's dropped the spike, meaning they have to push into him through his orb potentially. He's on the edge of it, swinging. A brave player, always has been, but Camo a little bit too clean in this pistol. Koi will take it and get a healthy boost of rounds at the start of this half.
Yeah, no, exactly what they needed. A lifeline to be held, but still a long, long road to recovery. Good round from Camo as well. I think he's someone especially, even if it's just a little bit of a fake comeback in this map where he builds up some stats and then heads into Breeze, which is a glorified Angel. I'm guessing that must have been from like a round before, because that one was pretty clean.
It was a nice round.
Like, I don't know what he could have been frustrated at.
Camo misses one shot. Like, God damn it, what was that nade, Camo? You got 3 kills, but the utility was off. Now, I do imagine that was an earlier one, but who knows with Barbar? Who knows what sets him off? For Vitality, quick mid push, low weapons. Indeed, you can see no upgrades whatsoever. Classics, well, somehow they win the opening duel, but the numbers advantage brought alongside them perhaps helps out. Nade to cover the retreat. I like this. You know, the players are not players aren't overcommitting for the most part. Safe's being caught in no man's land, but these things happen.
I'm a little bit wary of the fact that Koi did seem a little bit unaware of a potential push. Like the distance that Vitality got before anybody realized was that they killed a player in the corner. Kicks dodges the flash. That's already another drop. Shouldn't be getting anything more than that. And Destrian, oh, he's a little bit further behind. Now, I don't believe there's any sort of trip to stop his flank. It does seem, though, that Starzo is locked in on this position. Oh, maybe not. Never mind. He's no longer locked in on this position. And he's locked back in, but it's too late.
Yeah, but I think a bullet to the back of the head will make you lock in pretty quickly.
I must wait a moment.
Wait a moment on that. We can see the lasers looking back, the line of sight visible for a second. That's what made it so difficult for him. 4-10. And the side of Koi are slowly chipping away at Vitality's lead, but here is where things get scary. You can see the hood pop back up, and the rifles will come into play for the side of Vitality. For Koi, sometimes you have an ultimate that can help you out. It can maybe bridge that gap. We don't really have that here. I'm curious to see what their solution to this round will be, because there's a lot of weaknesses. Typically, you're going to see a unique approach. Paranoia into A Blitz. Blast packs up.
Oh, they're ready for it, though. 3 players ready on this angle. Somehow Camo still wins that fight, and he takes down Sender as well. What a double opener. They needed something in this round. You mentioned an ult. I feel like he's just gone nuclear himself. Didn't need any help. Spam through, won't achieve anything. And after plant now, you almost have to sit there for Vitality and go, is it worth it?
They will have recovered so many weapons as well. That's the other thing to think about for Vitality, with 2 players dying inside the elbow. Even another weapon just got upgraded. Shados now has a rifle too. And it's those problems that really, I think, tipped this scales in the saving direction for the side of Vitality. The weapons being carried through is just worth that little bit more. Koi, 5 players alive still. Great early round. Paranoia left. Blast pack up on the right. Honestly, the fact that Camo finds this much value is insane, because the stun doesn't hit. If I'm not mistaken, the flash did not catch Runner.
No,
but he just wins the fights, plain and simple.
He wins the fight. Also, he's offset when landing, so he has to wait a second, and it's still crisp enough. And the second player he fights, he only has 45 HP. So if he gets hit by 2 bullets anywhere, he's dead. So, yeah, just clinical from the young duelist. And if they're going to have any chance in this map, he needs to be on. A little bit worrying for Vitality. The same sort of flaws. It's just you were in the right place at the right time, just didn't win those initial fights and weren't ready for maybe such a aggressive... I say weren't ready. They had players there, just didn't hit the shots.
Yeah. That's one of those things, you know, when it came down to the moment, they weren't ready on an aim level. Couldn't win the fight for Vitality.
Only there was a lamp for that.
Got you.
You spend much time in there, Tom?
I need to spend more. That's the only answer to that question.
That can always be the answer. Well, for Vitality, 3 players on A start a round. They go up for a bit of aggression. Don't see anybody. Koi are just slowly looking for mid control. They've got a trap to deny B aggression, trap to deny A aggression. Eventually, group up and push. And we'd seen this a few times from Vitality. Similar rounds. Koi often had a very good read with stacks towards the site that Vitality were going on. Even if it didn't work out, they still had the numbers there. For Vitality, that's not really the case. The rotates are a little bit slower. They're much more patient in the way they play that. So you'll see Kicks, Runner, and Sander having to defend that while the B control was still being sought after. Safe has made it out though. He's nice and safe.
40 seconds on the clock, and the spike is just starting to rotate in towards middle. It's leaving with a lack of time on the clock for Koi, and actually, I thought Safe for a second was going to go pushing through his own Viper Orb. Instead, he actually picks it up in front of his opponent, and nobody actually deals with him. Timing for Kicks not good, though. Grubinho, a little bit of a cheeky playthrough, but they still got a couple of players to deal with. Make that just one. It's Safe completely surrounded. The timing couldn't be any better, and although the clock was low, for Koi, that's not going to be any trouble at all.
10 seconds left.
The patient round from Koi. I think that plays well, like we said, for Vitality. This isn't a team that you can show a bit of presence on A. You remember the round, Vitality on attack side, Sender teleports to B, breaks a trap, and there were 5 players there 10 to 15 seconds later. The thing is, Vitality don't work like that. We saw it in their game against Gentlemates. That was a team that tried to push and pull the map to cause those rotations and find easier sites to hit, but every single time there would still be whatever they started out with. If it was 3B, after your fake, there were 3B. Maybe there were 2 if it really worked, but they're not the kind of team to just throw all their eggs in one basket. Still though, for Koi, because they played it so painstakingly, patiently, they end up being able to group up together, use their numbers, break through that defense, and a beautifully played round to put them 6-10. This is where I start to consider it a game again.
I'm waiting for 8. When we get to 8, that's when I'm like, okay, there's actually a possibility of this happening. Yep. Also, we've now got a Salapause, which I'm always going to have faith in. I think he's been very good at sort of turning the tide.
Barbar gets to speak too, Tom.
That is also true.
So anyways, clearly favor towards Vitality in this pause.
No, I think that it's one of those scenarios when you've had a few rounds to watch what your opponents are doing. I think that last round actually just dwindles with Kicks being caught off, which I don't think will happen too often. So I think it would just be maybe not over-rotating in those scenarios, because he's caught running and then the players on the B side are completely surrounded. I think also it's mainly just going to be about catching that pace, because Koi have done some very fast rounds, and then in that last one, it was about a slow mid lurk, and the rest of the players just patiently waiting. And they were seconds away from safe spotting that B push. Like, he literally was right next to Starzo, just didn't even realize it at the time. So it's still Vitality firmly in the driver's seat, but a little bit of life in Koi. And I think it's a good time for a pause. 4 rounds lost in a row, couple of buy rounds in there as well. And for Vitality, still plenty of opportunities, but we have seen both teams have sort of thrive on that attack. I think we've seen most teams in this tournament thrive on the attack. I think this map has really lent in that direction. Now, I will say, it's a newer map. It can very easily that will change over time.
That, yeah.
I think one of the main things that I could be critical of is the amount of people I'm seeing die to someone pushing through a smoke in top mid. If I'm still seeing that in 6 months, I'm worried.
Yeah, I think that is it. There's a lot of gaps in the defense so far from most teams that we've seen play this. Well,
see you later.
That right there.
I will get in my cam to check if there's someone there.
That right there is Carmen, Tom. You play those fast blitz round in the blast packs, you catch him off guard. Shadows got shot in the back a few times trying to run away. It's good to see Destrian blindsided by the same kind of play. Nice showstopper camo on another. Vitality's numbers thin out, and Kicks was quickly rooted from the back of sight. This, and a lot of these rounds have been blink and you miss it. Immediate burst of action and a defensive squad left to save. It seems like we're in a similar spot again. Surely, Runner and Center, because they're sticking around. Center's going towards Market. Are they going to go for this? 10-6 in the lead. I guess they're feeling it, but individually, Koi have been ahead in so many of these fights. Doesn't feel likely, and with Runner falling, even less so. Center may now be thinking about getting out, but that choice might not be his anymore. With Camo coming to challenge, but luckily he's dealt. And he's out.
It's an interesting one as well, because it seemed like Sender was watching for a lurk, and Runner was going in. So it just seemed a little bit disjointed in how they were even trying to play that 2v4 and the fact they were playing it in the first place. I feel like for Destrian, that's going to be a learning curve round of just like, okay, I've got to be careful, because we saw a lot of those aggressive A-site takes. I don't think we saw as many from Vitality where there was someone watching it and they were dead that fast. Like a cam is literally, he pops the cam to check it and Camo's like, you're dead.
It's already too late.
Don't look at me.
but it's interesting because he had just jump peeked and got shot at. So
and he'd just been stunned by a breach.
Yeah. Well, I guess
so they knew he was there. He was stunned, and he popped the cam.
Goes, I'll have a look if they're pushing. I wonder if they're pushing me after they've stunned me. Oh look, there's a man there. Well, an unfortunate reaction. These things happen. Panic play. 10-7 for the side of Vitality. It is starting to get a little bit worrying. You said 8 was where the line in the sand was for you, Tom. And, well, I don't know if I'll give you a little bit of a breather, because Vitality do have pistols here. So if Koi hit 8, I'd almost reset you. I'd say, okay, 9 is the line, right? The next buy round, once we hit that 8.
That's the thing. I genuinely think 8 is already there, because they're getting to a point where they're on the favored side of the map, and they're only 2 rounds behind. Like, you're now looking at Vitality to break a streak of rounds. Yep. We've already seen them lose today. To be this far in the lead, they went, what was it, 9-0?
Yes.
They were 9-0 up, and since then it's been, what, 6-1? Great math.
Well done. Well done. I'm proud of you, Tom.
Well, it wouldn't be, because it'd be 7. Because it was 9-0. So.
9-0. Oh, there you go. I'm less proud of you now, Tom. I was just taking your word for it.
You just went, yes, yes.
Sounds right to me. Sure thing. 6-1, 7-1, what's the difference? It's all the same. But
30 seconds
for Vitality, they've lost A.
I like you trust me that much.
I did. That might be the last time. Vitality have given up the A site. They lost Sander, rotate over, and you know, one of the things we complimented them on was the fact that they're not over-rotating. This is a round where you've got mostly pistols. So these are the rounds where you're much quicker to gamble up, to run the numbers, and it didn't work out. Oh, unfortunately for them. Good damage returned as well, and Runner has been domed. That's a rifle, and one of the few healthy members of Vitality that was left, taken out of the equation. Now it's pretty stacked towards the side of Koi. Almost no way for Vitality, especially with 5 players left, to get in here, kill all the players, get the defuse. It's not happening. The question is, how many can they take down, make this costly, and can Destrian save the rifle?
Yeah, I think the only thing that matters really is saving the rifle and getting some orbs for yourself, because on the other side of things, it's the same scenario as the last time. It's very weird. We're watching a mirror match, basically. Both Starzo and Shados goes down, but genuinely, it doesn't matter. Like, Starzo's got max cash. I imagine Shados is pretty close. Yeah, he did up until the point where he bought. So they've not really lost anything. And they both ran in, well, I would say more so Starzo ran in to get orbs because Shados isn't close to his ult and it's not great. So I don't think he would have been risking his rifle for that. But we're now looking at 6 rounds in a row. Vitality have to respond soon because this is starting to get out of control. And bear in mind, if they, I don't know if they don't 2-0, but if they don't win this, they are guaranteed out. They will be 0-2. There is no way they could do this. Good start, though. An expectation on Camo. They've caught him finally.
Dodging the initial flash is the second, though, that's pushed them back. The Prowler as well. So this A site seems to be under threat. Rotates begins. Safe now. A little closer on that box. He's moving back. He's giving up the space just as Koi get there, and they start to seize back this control. This gap is perfect. The camera that was just being checked was over towards B main, but it looks like still you're going to have the challenge coming through from Destrin. He spotted them. He knows there's players around this angle, but the communication, it wasn't there quick enough. Sender's lost his life because of it, and now they're surrounded entirely. A player in their spawn even, but Runner is checking it. Showstopper popped. Spike protected. A rocket launcher ensuring no one steps anywhere close. Grabino's got a good spot to at least avoid that Showstopper. Ults out, grabs the spike, and it's all a fake. Oh, but they're going to hear him drop. They're hearing him run away.
Gonna hear him run away, but that could all be bait. There's still a cam in B main, so at least for the defensive side, they're gonna know that they haven't at least gone in that direction, but well, I think it will very quickly be given away if it's checked, which it has been. So that's all the information they could ever need. Even still, though, I don't know how they've gone from this position of having that spike down, having everybody on one side, to now an afterplant for Koi.
It's a ludicrous recovery so far. It's not the round win just yet, but Vitality, I mean, they were tasting their first whiff of victory. Shados down, that could bring them back in. 2 towards B main, Spike down in the open. Has to be tapped. There's nothing to block off sightlines for the side of Vitality. They need to force these players into fights. They've done well with the first. They know where Grabino is, and they're closing the distance. Here they come swinging around the right side, and Grabino is not ready. Too many angles to worry about. It is another round found for Vitality. One step closer to victory. Like we said, though, Tom, one of the big factors for this squad that was 9-0 up could be round differential. And now it's called into question more. We want to see them close this one out convincingly if they're still going to be in with a shot.
Yeah, good counter flash as well. I think it's a paranoia that came through from Sender. Definitely helped out stop what has been a terrifying force, and finally Safe has been stopped walking through smokes. He's done it so much throughout this game. Either way, 11-8. The chain has been broken of 6 rounds in a row, not quite as many as what we saw from Vitality, but it's whether or not they can bounce right back. Ult's definitely in the favor of this defensive side, and Runner again, huge opener for him.
A big kill. Safe put under pressure, but he's gone pushing. Moving into the angle instead. Yeah, it might not be the right call. Rolling Thunder. Has it caught Safe? It's definitely caught the players in spawn! It didn't catch Safe! It didn't touch him! He was safe in the corner! And I'll tell you what, Koi were not. A devastating blow to this attacking side as they look to commit for a quick play and instead find themselves with 4 chances to lose this map. They need 4 in a row on the attack, and that was an Andalucia flawless to add insult to injury.
This is just unlucky.
They
picked up the orb just to use that ultimate, and then it doesn't connect onto the one guy that it needed to most. And you can see from Safe, he's got away with one there. He's also probably the last person you want to allow to do that to you, because you look at him on the other side of the stage, he's just having a great time. 12-8. I love tap through the smoke as they look to try and pressure. Runner has been in the right place at the right time for the last few rounds, waiting for that peak. They know he's there, but he's still going to win the battle.
0 damage as well. Rounds the corner from the exploding boombot. Dropped the op on the other side. It is retrieved by Camo, who's been pretty unreal just with a rifle in hand. Now with a sniper, maybe. Yeah, there we go. We swap him back. I wasn't sure what kind of opping performance to expect. With the rifle back in hand, the round is still up for grabs.
Oh, at the moment, it does seem like a fake comeback. As I said, I feel like any sort of warm-up for Koi might actually be more beneficial than just being boomed out of the server. Vitality came off the last match hot to try, even if it was a defeat to the side of Carmine Corp. And now with a build-up in towards this B site, one player on the site, but two very close by.
Yeah, make that three. Not anymore. He's gone back to the other side of the map, but he's got the information, the quick recon used up, essentially. And they can play the retake. Viper's pit on safe to work with, used up top. This guy's got some interesting walls. It's to fight back out, to give them some space to work with, but he's tagged down to just 8 HP for safe. I think that can be healed back up. Kick still has some regrowth, but the problem is they've lost players across the board with Runner and Destrian no longer in the round, and this Viper's pit not making it all the way to the spike. There is still one hell of a fight on their hands for the side of Vitality, and that is one way to approach it. Not the right way, evidently, as he's fallen, and so too is the rest of Vitality. 12-9, one more for Koi, and they need 3 more to bring us to overtime.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of Viper's pits that are used that... I understand the logic behind them to get you back in, but then it's like, okay, you need something to burst back out. Like you need a flash or whatever. And in that case, it just seemed like it was a TP. I like that from either side. Their eyes locked across the operator. Unfortunately, it was not the love story we were hoping for.
No. A bit more malice involved than we were expecting. With a 3-round gap, it's not the end of the world, and it's certainly not lost for Koi yet.
Get him.
This was their map pick. And remember, Vitality decided to start in the attack, right? They got the best part out of the way. That one's going to hurt. At least Grabinho put his smokes down, but puts a bit of a timer on the round for Koi because those smokes are going to fade, and they ain't coming back this time. A plant at least for Shadow. The post plants now need to be taken. Shados was hoping to flank, but he was caught, and that trap seeing him has ended his hopes and dreams with another advantage stacked up towards the side of Vitality. Sure, that Seized might buy a few seconds, but player it Seized is even inside the Trailblazer. Here comes a flash over top, and Camo needs to make a huge play around the edge. Oh no! Good night, Shadow. Surely he's 1 HP. Okay, finally he'll fall. And with Starzo left, 1v4, those spams better be godlike, because this round is gone. Vitality, 13-9. They started it out with a flawless streak of rounds. It became a little bit labored in the end, but they got there. The first map, Koi's pick, goes to Vitality.
Yeah, it seems like starting on that defensive side might be a bit of a curse. It definitely didn't go their way. And a fantastic showing from the side of Vitality.